Zeus was a CCI ride designed by one of the owners of the Gravity Group, Larry Bill. It was getting a little bit bouncy, as it is a 20-year-old wooden roller coaster. Parc Astérix contacted us to come and take a look at it, and it turned out to be a 3-phase project. I like to call it a roller coaster makeover, like a home makeover.
We upgraded the trains, mechanical systems, control system, drive tire, storage track, but primarily what we all care about is the actual shape of the track we changed. We reprofiled some different sections. We're excited to take this old CCI ride and really create a ride for the next 20, 30, 40 years for that park.
Phase 1 was retracking from above the crest of the first drop, down through the tunnel, and up around the first turn. And then phase 2 was kind of up in the air for a little bit. They actually wanted to redo a lot of the helix, but their corporate team decided that they wanted to reinvent Tonnerre de Zeus without breaking the bank. What we did is we actually lowered 2 of the turns to make them a little bit faster and changed a lot of the banking, and then we redid the final helix. That was a real tricky and difficult phase because we were using the same Philadelphia toboggan trains that are on it, but these trains, they actually had to modify them just slightly so they could take the banking at a quicker rate. The ride itself, even though it's pretty much the same track length, was running about 8 seconds faster from the top of the hill to the brake run.
It's all using our engineered pre-cut track, so instead of hand cutting these shapes of wood on the field, we're actually cutting them in a shop, we're sending them to the site, they're putting them together, and so all the new sections are just super smooth, like just crazy smooth.
What we do is we actually rotate the laminates of the track into what we call the strong axis. Moving it like this makes it about 20 to 30 times stronger.
On one side, we have the horizontal track, and now I'm standing on it, and you can see how it's deflecting. And then I go over to the other track, which is vertical, and you can see pretty much no deflection whatsoever. When you're going down a wood coaster track, you're going in that valley, typically there's a little bit of motion between the supports, and that, with the strength, goes away. When we developed this track, we wanted a solution that was made out of wood, but used wood smarter.
I do a lot of stuff with old wooden roller coasters. What I do is I take high-powered engineering measuring equipment that follows me around, and I measure all the dimensions of the current structure. But there's a guy, a master carpenter up there, and he's using a blade saw trying to cut the curve of the track, a lot of using your eye, and you give them as much measuring as you can, but there still could be an error with it. With the pre-cut engineered track, it's basically you push go, you push print, it prints it out, we hand it to the park, they drop it into place, and you're good to go.
We can take that old ride and revive it. You look at Racer, you look at Beast, you look at Tonnerre de Zeus, those are all testaments to, wow, this is just wood, but it's amazing. From an economical point of view, it's actually not that much more than traditional track. So it's kind of like, why would I do traditional track if I could do the engineered pre-cut track? We're using the same wood. The future of wood is wood. You know, keep it wood, you know, thou shalt not steal.
That second phase was so unique because you wanted to make it awesome for the year that it was running the PTC train, in hopes that it was going to be awesome with the Timberliner train. So the original PTC trains on that coaster have a different class restraint system. With the Timberliner car, you can go ejector air. So there was a fine balance of, okay, this ride's going to feel like this in phase 2, but in phase 3, it's going to run like this. So it was kind of weird because you were designing the same ride, but 2 different rides at the same time. I hope this works, and it did.
One of the big things that we did, it debuted our backwards car. We were kind of looking at it, it's like, okay, The G-forces are all going to be kind of in the same range as going forwards, but it's going to be a different sensation. You're yanked down the first drop backwards, so we're like, what's that going to feel like? You're going to interact with your lap bar a little bit different. But what we also came back to is like switchback already goes backwards. So we already have a feel for, you know, what's it feel going down a drop? How does it feel going around curves backwards? So that was kind of a little bit of a test before actually doing the backwards car that kind of helped us feel comfortable. It's like, yeah, we can do this, we can do that. I did get to ride it. I rode it forwards, I rode it backwards. I loved it. Like, I thought it was just so fun. You're just launched into that 90. You come down, you come up, you're launched out of your seat so many times. I think my favorite seat is actually 12 because I could just ride that every time. Like, it just yanks you over the drops and everything. Opening day was a blast. All the riders were just blown away. They were just like, this is so great. You know, what they did with the theming of the trains and just the whole project. The big reveal of the underwear was a big deal. Like, what print is it going to be now? Just that whole refreshed feeling of this ride being such a critical ride to the park was just really cool to be a part of.